But tonight we're reading Let the Children March by Monica Clark Robinson, and it's illustrated by Frank Morrison. So as mentioned, for Black History Month, we're going to try to do a reading every week. It's going to be a different story. I think next week I'm going to read a couple of poems from Langston Hughes' book. Yeah, that's what I'll do. Yeah. Next week, put it in your calendars. We're going to read a couple of poems from The Dream Keeper by Langston Hughes. So I'm pretty excited about that. So you guys prepare for that one. But without further ado, we'll go ahead and get started with the story. Let the Children March. This was a book I just kind of came across while I was in, I want to say Barnes & Noble. But I enjoy the finer details. You know, I'll go over a couple of these, but these are kind of some of the things that children did that was in their way that they marched. So in 1963, April 3rd was the first organized sit-in to take place at downtown lunch counters. Now, I know we all went through junior high, so that's kind of a pretty big deal if it's something that people keep track of. So maybe do a little bit of research on that. And then this other one, on May 3rd, which they call Double D-Day, more protesters are arrested, most of whom are under 18. Commissioner Bull Connor, who was the guy from the Selma movie, who pretty much called the people on Martin Luther King, you know, when we see them getting sprayed with the water hose, he was the main guy who had started that. Authorizes the use of high-pressure water hoses and police dogs to control the crowds. Close to 1,000 are arrested. So as we can see, our history is showing us that there's always been a fight to be had. And the people that came before us, they didn't have fear. So as that next generation, I kind of feel like we either have to have that same energy or come with more. The choice is yours. All right. Let the Children March. Let's see that. For the children and teens of Birmingham, Alabama. Okay. So 1963, Birmingham, Alabama. I couldn't play on the same playground as the white kids. I couldn't go to their schools. I couldn't drink from their water fountains. There were so many things I couldn't do. One warm spring night, our family went to church. We weren't there to have regular service. We were there to hear Dr. King speak. We were there to plan. He wanted to raise an army of peaceful protesters to fight for freedom. His brown eyes flashing fire and love, Dr. King told us time had come to march. If I march, Mama said, I'll lose my job, sure enough. I can't march, Daddy said. I got a family to feed. The weight of the world rested on our parents' shoulders, but this burden, this time, did not have to be theirs to bear. It's legit concerns. I don't have a boss to fear, my brother said, or a job to lose. We can march this time. We'll be Dr. King's army, I said. I'll be fine, Daddy. I promise. Don't worry, Mama. Dr. King didn't like children being put in harm's way. He was a daddy too, after all. But he said that though we were young, we were not too young to want our freedom. Let the children march. They will lead the way. On May 2nd, a sunny Thursday, boys and girls, brothers and sisters, cousins and friends, we all met at the church, dressed in our best, feet ready. That's me getting my feet ready. In a silence so loud that all I could hear was my racing heart, we began to walk. Hand in hand we marched, so frightened, yet certain what was right for freedom. The path may be long and troubled, but I'm going to walk on. It takes time to get what you want. It takes time. Would I be hurt? Would we be hurt? Would it all be worth it in the end? I wanted to run from the angry faces in the crowd. Run from danger. Run from fear. Singing the songs of freedom. Ooh. Boys and girls, brothers and sisters, cousins and friends, on and on we marched. We marched. We marched. 1,000 strong, we came. Hey, dog, my heels all that day. Is yellow canine teeth sharp? But courage walked by my side and kept me going. Disperse or you'll be jailed, the police shouted the first day. Disperse or you'll be wet, the police shouted the second day. Disperse or release the dogs, the police shouted the third day. We did not disperse. We kept on marching. We wouldn't stop until things started to change. Yeah. Hundreds of us went to jail on the first day, and even more on the second. My turn wasn't until the third day. After I was sprayed by water stronger than anything I've ever felt, rough hands pushed me forward, and I fell to my knees in the police wagon. I was going to jail. Dr. King reassured our parents. Don't worry about your children, he said. They're going to be all right. Don't hold them back if they want to go to jail, for they are doing a job for not only themselves, but for all of America and for all mankind. That night, crowded into a cell too small for even half of the kids, we sang. We shall overcome. Ain't gonna let nobody turn me around. And freedom is coming. Our parents couldn't be there with us, but still, we sang, wrapped in the proud and loving arms of our ancestors. That's the motto. I was still in jail, but we heard that the next day. And the next, more kids marched. The water hoses they used to stake us could not stop our fierce tide. The path may be long and troubled, but I'm gonna walk on. Turn the other cheek, we had been taught, show love where there is hate. The world watched as hate bruised us, but for 7 days, we walked only in love. The jail swelled to bursting, and even President Kennedy took notice. Daddy said the president received letters and calls about us from all over the world. Our march will become a memory, a small part of a larger story. But we have been heard, and the seeds of a revolution were sown. Yeah. Two days and nights I stayed in the jail. Some stayed even longer. When I left, I was tired and sore. My best dress was ripped, but my smile was as wide as a Mississippi River. I made a difference. I'm so proud of you, baby girl, Mama said. Your march was what made them see. With nothing more than our feet, voices, and courage, we had done what others could not. Change was right around the corner. We felt it like a cool breeze in the Alabama August. On May 10th, the great news rang out. Dr. King had reached an agreement with the white leaders of the city. Desegregation would begin. Okay. 1 month later, I was playing on a playground I'd never been allowed to play on before. 2 months later, my family ate at a diner we'd never been allowed to eat in before. Our march made a difference. We children led the way. Singing the songs of freedom. 1,000 strong we came. Yeah. Didn't let us in the door. All right. And that's the end of it. So she does include an afterword and an artist statement. Couple of sources if you guys want to check that out on your own. And then one of my other favorite parts is on the back. She'll provide some more important times in our history. In 1963, August 28th, over 250,000 people descend on Washington, D.C. during the March on Washington, where Dr. Martin Luther King gives his famous "I Have a Dream" speech. Let's go ahead and get one more and get up out of here. And then, on October 14th, Martin Luther King Jr. was awarded the Nobel Peace Prize. Okay. And as y'all see that there are a couple of other, notable events that occurred on the timeline. But as mentioned, man, that book was Let the Children March by Monica Clark Robinson, illustrated by Frank Morrison. It's a really good story. Thank you, Miss Clark Robinson. I appreciate that. And hopefully that'll be something that inspire you. What was your favorite part of the story? Let us know. But other than that, check us out on YouTube, Reading with the Olivers. Like, share, subscribe. And hopefully we see you guys next week. We'll be back with another story for Black History Month. Y'all be safe. Drink your orange juice.